My FIL called me the expense in front of the entire family while discussing their estate plan. "She's never brought in a dime," he said. I smiled. What he didn't know was that I'd bought out his silent partner 2 months before. When his business needed capital, I let him grovel before handing him the terms. Triple interest. Immediate payback. "Still not bringing in dimes," I said. "Only bills." I'm 38. Married for 11 years. My husband Matt and I live in Dayton, Ohio. We don't have kids, by choice. That alone put me on the wrong side of his family from day one. His dad, Rich, made it clear he wanted grandkids and didn't think much of women who chose careers over family. That was strike one. I had a good job. Finance, mid-level, nothing flashy but stable. I left that job 5 years ago. Not because I was lazy or wanted to take it easy, like Rich said. I left to build a fintech startup with a friend from college. We didn't talk about it much at family gatherings. Honestly, I didn't feel like explaining what I did to people who barely listened. I worked late nights, poured everything I had into building something from the ground up. It paid off. We hit traction last year, started getting investor interest, and revenue finally turned profitable. But to Rich, I was a housewife who didn't bring in a dime. He owns a local construction supply company. He's run it for decades. It used to be his dad's. He didn't build it. He inherited it. But if you asked him, he'd tell you he earned everything with blood, sweat, and grit. He loves talking about how hard he worked. He's the kind of guy who acts like the world owes him respect because he didn't go to college. He's never respected me. That was always clear. Over the years, he dropped little digs. At first, they were small. "Must be nice to relax at home all day. Matt works so hard. You're lucky. Maybe one day you'll find something to do." I bit my tongue. Every single time. Matt would try to brush it off. That's just how he is. But then came the night that changed everything. Rich invited the whole family to a dinner at his house. Said it was about the future of the family. We showed up expecting something like holiday plans or maybe a health update. But no, he had printed handouts, a PowerPoint, and folders. He was walking everyone through his estate plan. Who gets what, who takes over what, when he's gone. He gave the business to Matt and his brother, split evenly. The lake house went to their sister. He set aside college funds for the grandkids. Even his boat was assigned to someone. I sat there, smiling, nodding, not really caring. I didn't expect anything from him, but then he said it. "I've set it up so everything goes to those who've earned it. I don't believe in handouts, especially not for people who've never brought in a dime." And then, looking right at me, he said, "Every family's got one expense. Ours is just more obvious." The room went quiet. His wife looked like she wanted to disappear. His daughter whispered, "Dad, come on." My husband sat frozen. Me? I smiled. Calm. Cool. He didn't know what I'd done 2 months before. See, his business had hit a rough patch. A big commercial client defaulted on a $250,000 order. That client went under and left Rich with unpaid invoices and a lot of aging inventory. His longtime silent partner, Harris, saw the writing on the wall and wanted out. Harris and Rich were never close. Harris was only in it for the money, and when the money looked shaky, he wanted to dump his shares. I saw a chance. Harris and I had talked at a conference once. He remembered me. I reached out through a mutual contact, made an offer through a clean, small LLC I'd set up for angel investing. Rich never questioned where the money came from. He just wanted to keep his business running. The buyout happened. Quiet. Legal. No drama. I became the new silent partner. He never knew. When he needed cash again fast, I was there. The LLC offered him a private loan, $150,000. Harsh terms. 3x interest over 6 months. Personal guarantee. Monthly payments. Late fees. No wiggle room. He signed everything, desperate. And a month later, He missed the first payment. I waited. Let the interest grow. Let the late fees stack. Watched him sweat. Watched him blame the economy, the government, lazy workers. Never once did he think the person bleeding him dry was sitting across from him at family dinners. So when he called me the expense that night, I decided it was time to show my hand. After dinner, when the grandkids were in the other room watching Frozen or whatever was playing, I pulled out a single envelope, handed it across the table to him. He looked confused. Opened it. Read the top page. Then the second. Then again, slower. This is wrong, he said. It's not, I said. That's your updated payment schedule. You're behind. The partner's calling the note. He blinked hard. You don't know anything about this. Stay out of it. I took a sip of wine. I own the note. Rich. Silence. What are you talking about? I bought Harris out 2 months ago. That LLC you borrowed from? That's mine. His hands shook. You tricked me. No, I said. You never saw me coming. There's a difference. He went pale. His wife gasped. Matt just sat there, mouth half open, not saying a word. Rich tried to call his lawyer. Tried to fight it. But everything was legal. Rock solid. Over the next 2 weeks, I let him sweat. Then I sent another notice. Default. Under the loan terms, I took control of his shares. Controlling interest. I didn't fire him. That would have been too easy. Too quick. I cut his pay. Slashed it. Then I hired a young, smart operations manager. A woman. He hated that. She knew her stuff, ran circles around him. He had to report to her now. Every morning, he walks into the building that still has his name on it, but he's not in charge. Not anymore. And the best part? Every dime he makes now goes toward paying me back. He hasn't said another word about me not bringing in money, because now, the only reason his business is still running is because of me. And he knows it. But we're not done yet. It's been 3 months since I took over. Rich shows up at the office every morning at 8 a.m. sharp. Tries to pretend he's still in charge. The staff plays along, mostly out of habit. But the truth is, he has no real say anymore. Every major decision goes through me or our new operations manager, Tasha. Tasha's in her late 30s, sharp as a blade, MBA from Cincinnati, and not afraid to challenge anyone. The crew didn't like her at first, especially the old guard who'd been there since Rich's father ran the place. But Tasha earned their respect. Cleaned up the books, renegotiated supplier contracts, even fixed the garbage fleet scheduling software Rich never bothered to upgrade. And every single change she made proved just how much of a mess Rich had left behind. Now here's where things took a turn. Matt started to act different. Distant. I caught him pacing the backyard late at night. He was never the most emotionally open person, but lately he wouldn't even meet my eyes when we talked about his dad. One night, I pressed him. What's going on with you? He hesitated. Then he said, he's my dad. I didn't ask who he was. I asked what's going on. He sighed. You didn't tell me about the buyout. About the loan. About any of it. I get why. But still. I paused. Would you have tried to stop me? He didn't answer. That told me everything. So now I had a new problem. I couldn't trust my own husband to have my back. Not when it came to his father. I found out just how deep that problem went a week later. Tasha came into my office with a USB drive and a sick look on her face. You need to see this, she said. It was a recording from the warehouse security system. The footage showed Rich meeting one of our new delivery vendors after hours. No paperwork, no logs, nothing. And the vendor handed him a sealed envelope. Cash. I leaned forward. What the hell is this? Kickbacks, she said. He's been sneaking them past accounting. We ran an audit. This vendor's been overcharging us for months. I think Rich is getting a cut. It was fraud. Simple, stupid fraud. And if we reported it, it would ruin him. I called Matt. Told him to come home early. He sat in the kitchen, holding a beer like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. He's stealing, I said. From the company. From me. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then, you can't report him. It'll destroy him. He's already destroyed his credibility. Matt looked at me, and for the first time in years, I saw it. He didn't know which side he was on. And I was starting to think I didn't either. So I gave him an option. Talk to him. Tell him to resign. Quietly. I'll let him keep his benefits, his pension, the whole thing. But he leaves the building. Permanently. Matt didn't answer. 2 days passed. Then Rich showed up in my office. Alone. He looked worn out. Angry. You think this makes you better than me? He said. I don't have to be better, I said. I just have to be smarter. Which I've always been. You don't belong in this family, he snapped. You made sure I never felt like I did, I said. And now you're just mad that I outplayed you. He slammed his hand on the desk. I'm not going anywhere. I opened the drawer, pulled out the file with the security footage stills, the vendor logs, and a printed letter I hadn't shown Matt yet. If you don't resign, I said calmly, I'll press charges. You'll lose the business, your reputation, and possibly your freedom. Your call. His eyes scanned the pages. His jaw clenched. He looked up at me like he wanted to tear the walls down. Then he left. No resignation. No response. Just walked out. That night, I found out Matt had packed a bag and left too. No note. No explanation. Just silence. Now I've got the company, the power, and the proof. But my husband? Gone. And the fire I started just found new fuel. Matt stayed gone. He didn't call, didn't text. I reached out once, just once, and all I got back was, I need space. That told me where he stood. Or at least where he didn't. A week later, I went to our bank to handle some paperwork for the business. That's when I found out something that made my blood run cold. 2 personal accounts had been accessed. Drained. Quietly. Bit by bit. One of them was in my name only. The withdrawals started 3 weeks earlier, right around the time Rich started scrambling to cover his overdue payments. I got a name from the teller. Matt. He had access. We never bothered locking each other out. Trust, right? I called him. Straight to voicemail. Then I called our lawyer. Locked everything down. I didn't want to believe it. But the truth was simple. Matt stole from me to help his father. I dug deeper. Looked through our home computer. Passwords. Emails. And I found something worse. There were drafts of messages to Rich. Conversations about transferring company assets. Things Matt had no right to touch. Some of them were already sent. He was helping Rich build a case against me. That night, I changed all the locks. And that same night, someone broke into the office. They didn't take anything valuable. Just trashed Tasha's desk, smashed a few monitors, and scrawled thief across the whiteboard in red paint. Police report filed. Cameras showed a masked figure too blurry to ID, but the way they moved, I'd bet everything it was Rich. Or someone he sent. Tasha wanted to increase security. I told her yes, but I knew this wasn't about property. It was personal now. A few days later, I got served. Rich was suing. For breach of contract, misrepresentation, and, get this, intentional emotional distress. He claimed I tricked him out of his shares. That I used insider knowledge to sabotage the business. That I was unfit to control it. Matt had signed an affidavit supporting the claim. That hurt more than anything. I sat there, in the lawyer's office, staring at the papers, hands shaking not with fear, but with rage. They were trying to bleed me out. Drag me into court, ruin my name, drain me financially, force me to settle. It was a move right out of Rich's playbook. Fight dirty. Lie bigger. Hope the other person breaks first. But I didn't break. Instead, I fought back. I sent our private investigator everything, the security footage, the fake invoices, the cash deals, even emails from Matt about how they could corner me legally. The PI came back with something even better. Proof Rich was hiding assets. A storage unit filled with unpaid inventory. Equipment from the business that had mysteriously gone missing months ago. All hidden under a cousin's name. We built a case. Quietly. Carefully. Then I went to the media. Not national. Local. Dayton Business Weekly. They ran a quiet piece about corruption, company fraud, a power shift in a family-owned firm. Didn't name names, but people in the industry knew exactly who it was about. Within 2 weeks, vendors started pulling out of side deals with Rich. Creditors started asking questions. And the bank called in one of his personal loans. He was underwater. And Matt? I finally heard from him. A text. Just one. You never had to go this far. I stared at it for a long time, then deleted it. Because here's the truth, I wasn't done. They came after me with lies. So now I'm going to bury them in truth. The court date came fast. Rich tried to stall. Filed motions. Claimed illness. Said he wasn't mentally fit for trial. But the judge saw through it. We walked into the courthouse on a gray Thursday morning with 2 legal teams, piles of paper, and years of bitterness stretched thin. He sat across from me in a cheap blue suit, shoulders sunken, tie crooked. Matt was behind him. Not by his side, just in the room. He didn't even look at me. My lawyer didn't waste time. We presented the proof. Financial records. Security footage. The private investigator's report showing the hidden storage unit, the fake contracts, the shell accounts in Rich's cousin's name. Then we brought up the kickbacks. Then the theft from company funds. Then the fact that Matt accessed my personal accounts without permission. I didn't need to lie. I didn't need to twist anything. They did that to themselves. Rich's lawyer tried to spin it. Said I was vindictive. That I infiltrated the family business with the intent to take over. He painted me like some kind of cold-blooded opportunist. And maybe I was. But I didn't break the law. They did. In the end, the judge dismissed Rich's case. Every part of it. Said he'd abused the system, wasted the court's time, and left the courtroom open for criminal referrals. Then it was my turn. I filed a civil suit for damages. For fraud. For theft. And I won. Rich was ordered to pay back every stolen dollar, plus penalties, plus my legal fees. His personal accounts got frozen. His home was put up for lien. The boat he loved so much? Gone. Repossessed. The business? Still mine. He had to move in with his daughter. The lake house? Sold. As for Matt, he tried to apologize after the trial. Showed up outside my office like nothing happened. I made a mistake, he said. I got pulled in. I didn't know how far he'd go. You mean how far you went? I said. You took from me. Lied to me. Took his side when you knew he was wrong. I didn't want to lose my family, he said, looking down. You did anyway. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just turned and walked back inside. We filed for divorce 2 weeks later. I gave him nothing. Not a cent. I kept the house, the car, and the company. But here's the thing no one ever expects, winning still hurts. I got revenge. I exposed them, destroyed their reputation, and left them scraping by. But I also lost someone I once loved. I lost trust. I lost peace. And maybe that's my punishment. For letting it go so far. For not saying something sooner. For smiling in silence when I should have fought back in the beginning. Revenge doesn't fix things. But it sure as hell ends them. And for me, that was enough.